Hi there! You're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we are in the garden and we're going to do our first split garden tour. So I mentioned the last time we did a garden tour that I will be splitting them up through the summer, where we'll do a front yard garden tour and then a backyard garden tour because there's so many things going on. So this is the first of the month and you'll see this on the first Sunday, and then we'll do a backyard garden tour in a couple of weeks and you'll see that on the second Sunday. And that way you have a good encompassing view of everything that's going on. I am going to show a little tiny bit of our backyard because our rhododendrons are almost done blooming and I don't want you to miss that. We are having gusts of wind today, so my audio may fade in and out. We'll just have to work with it. But we are starting where we always start, right by our driveway, and then we're gonna go down the walkway there. So I just want to show you what's blooming in the garden on the Oregon coast and in zone 9A, the 1st of June. So here in the beginning, we still have violas. These were the violas that were in our porch baskets over the winter. We planted them back in October. I moved them into a basket when I planted up our porch pots, and they're still looking fantastic. They're still putting on tons of new blooms. So I'm just leaving them right here in these pots. I have some over here as well. Look at this. Isn't that so beautiful? Let them keep blooming if that's what they want to do. Here in the privet grove, you can see our rhododendron is completely done. We'll be raking that out tomorrow. I just take a small rake and fluff it all up and then rake up all the dead blooms. You can also take this part where the blooms are all off and pop them off like this. I like to do that on my front yard rhododendrons just because they're, everybody can see them. But my really big, huge ones that I have downstairs, I don't bother with. They're self-cleaning. They just look funky for a little while like this until they drop off their leaves and push out new growth. See, so they bloomed here, and I could take this bloom off here, and then they've got their new growth. But if I didn't pop off the flower, the new growth would just get big and cover up all the icky stuff, and then it would fall off eventually. All right, so stepping up into the privet grove, I want to show you how fantastic our hostas are doing. They're all up, looking great. We had a 90-degree day a couple of weeks ago, and these two big hostas got a little sun-kissed. So they're not looking their very best. Typically in the past, the privets were taller and shaded them, but they also didn't get to grow as much. Eventually, this elderberry will have a really tall canopy. There will be more filtered light for these hostas to enjoy. We're just gonna keep babying them along, give them plenty of water this summer until they have a little bit more shade in future years. They're already starting to bloom, which normally we get blooms in like August, late July. So they're definitely like pretty happy here. More hostas. This is the very last hosta to come up in the garden. These mouse ears, they're little tiny guys, but they're up, fully showing their leaves. You could see the bleeding hearts did great. They've kind of naturalized all underneath here, and their blooms are just about done. Let's keep going on here. We've got little roses blooming in this trellis that we placed. So sweet. They smell so good too. The old-fashioned rose. This rose was planted here before we moved in. The azalea, this azalea is all done blooming. All of the roses have heads on them, but they haven't opened yet. Over here, our irises are blooming. The lilies are all up. quite a bit, like 3 feet tall. The asters are coming up. I have a lupin blooming here, waiting for the yellow one to show up. All the lilies are up. These are the lilies that we transplanted, looking fantastic. They're happy with their new space. A little bit of shock happened and they've got some leaf damage, but they're good and strong. So I know they'll bloom and they'll be fine in the future. The Siberian irises are blooming. The blue star is going absolutely wild. The ground cover down there looks gorgeous. These are the Supertunia mini vistas on this side. Fantastic, fantastic. Over on this side, well, the Iberis is done blooming now. It was in full bloom. It's just got a couple of blooms here. So now I can go back and trim these up and allow these Supertunia snowdrifts to kind of take over. If I don't trim them up, they will just crawl over and take over anyway, so it'll be fine. We've got columbine blooming. We've got this rose blooming, which I planted this rose because we bought this rhododendron, and they look so beautiful together. That rhododendron, Spencer and I do not recall it being like highlighter orange. But this year, it is. It is an insane orange. And this is one of the few rhododendrons that actually have a fragrance. This is a deciduous rhododendron. So the leaves go away in the winter. More roses coming on the climbing roses. The David Austins back here are looking fine. They tons of new growth, looking fantastic. The angel wing mix is just starting to bud up, and they're gonna start blooming. I do have a little bit of spit bug, so that's what this slimy spit looks like. It looks like somebody spit a loogie on there. Yeah, it's a bug, and that's their web casing. Easy enough to just smush and get rid of. Okay, let's keep going here. Of course, we've got the bearded irises are blooming, not as prolifically as we have in years past. The reason for that is they need to be thinned again. They just do not like to be crowded. They will show a lush green growth, but they won't bloom. So we need to go in there and thin them out again. The dahlias are looking amazing. They're not blooming, but oh my gosh, there's no slug damage on them. They're like 8-10 inches tall. The best I've ever seen my dahlias look this time of year. Lithodora is still blooming everywhere. It's been months, which is so awesome. We still have some daffodil foliage to remove, but all of these annuals are looking really good in here. And these these pots were up on the porch. We've been power washing, so they're just in their temporary space, but they're loving their life. They're all in bloom. Looks great. This azalea is still in its full bloom. Look at that. It's amazing. And what I really love is this view. And I come here and you can see this azalea and that rhododendron and then that euonymus right there. It's like a package of highlighters, yellow, pink, and orange. Okay, what else is blooming out here? The Canomales is still looking phenomenal. It is fading, but it holds on to their blooms. Just stunning to have this many blooms on it. I absolutely love it. Over here, we've got our lady's mantle is about to pop open and bloom. It's all full, looking beautiful. We've got blue-eyed grass. It's the evening, so she's closed up. We've got a patch of blue-eyed grass here and a patch over there. And then the sedum's all in bloom. The snow and summer sedum is in bloom. The sea thrift is blooming. They're little tiny pink blooms. They're so cute. My dahlias over on this side are even up, which they really struggle with slugs. Of course, the barberry is looking so gorgeous this year. The Rose of Sharon is also leafed out early, which is really fun. I'm noticing all of my rose campium, this here, is getting its bloom stalk, and they'll open up into their magenta flowers real soon.
Again, it's a late summer thing. You know?
Yeah, normally we see those in July, August, September. Over here, I've got my peony. My peony looks gorgeous. The foliage looks amazing. This one little peony flower bud has been there for weeks. I don't know. That lady's mantle's looking great. The bearded irises are looking beautiful. This rose, like, tripled in size. And then right now, this garden looks so beautiful with the alliums and the white columbine and the skyrocket. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's so dainty and airy and fun. Let's see. The staghorn sumacs are all leafed out, looking beautiful. And they've got all their new fuzzy branches. I've got a red columbine right here. I've got this goat spirit is coming up, looking gorgeous. And then we've got this huge swath of native Shasta daisies that are coming up. It's gonna be glorious. And we've got red hot pokers right here, all blooming. Our deciduous rhododendron is just about done, but it's still got a little bit of lilac, lavender. It's like a really soft purple flower. And our first downstairs rhododendron has fully opened, and we're seeing color cracking on that one. See a little bit of purple right there and all kinds of purple right there. Really fun. And then down below the rhodies, all of the ajaga is in bloom, so it's all purple down there. And we've got ajaga all in here with the sage. We have geraniums. This is the cranesbill geranium. It's starting to open up. And the comfrey is blooming, which I need to cut back because it wants to bloom all summer long. I've also got yarrow starting to bloom. There are the garlic chives and regular chives are blooming down there in the medicine garden. I don't even know. I feel like, oh, the rosemary is in full bloom. This whole shrub right here is a rosemary. You can see all of her blue blooms. Say that 10 times fast.
Can't say it one time fast.
The honeywort that we planted is looking great. I still can't tell if this is like, what, do they have white spots? I don't remember. Does this variety have white spots? Who knows? The vermillionaire is blooming. It just needs to bulk up, but it's got all kinds of new growth on the bottom, so I have faith. More Jugga in bloom. Back to the Lithidora. You can see our Shasta daisy patch from this direction. It's all in here. And it's right next to the lawn daisies that we've let grow. So once those kind of fade, they'll go up into the Shasta daisies, which is kind of fun. The orange rocket barberry is looking great this year. And we even have new growth on that Rosa Sharon, and I forgot to show the hostas over here are looking gorgeous. This is the Fire and Ice. That is a mystery hosta, but it looks beautiful. All right, so then this is the newer area. Of course, nothing has changed since a couple days ago, but the Vertigo Pentacetum and the Pampas grass, Vertigo, Pampas grass. We've got new growth on the Russian sages. And then we have what we call the estate garden. Just because it's on the corner of our property. So kind of have this like fancy hill. The grasses are looking great. The barberry looks good. Even the yucca looks pretty good. We need to get rid of the grass behind it, but it's fine. Then we've got Supertunia mixes right here. So there's 3 in each 1-gallon container that was planted here. There's Supertunia bubblegum, jazzberry, and silverberry. Each one of those get 2 foot by 3 foot. So I don't understand why they put them in a 1-gallon thing to plant all together, but we're about to find out what the heck they do. So up on the deck in our hanging baskets, our petunias are looking, these are Supertunias, they're looking pretty good, starting to bloom. And we've got Super Bells on the other side, the double blooming kind, which is pretty. Pretty together. Oh. Then here we have the Supertunia Honey, which is so fun. You can see how they come out really bright and they kind of fade to a peachy color and then kind of a bronzy color. And this one, this basket always does better than all of them. It's like this one gets more sun and that one gets a little less, and then the far one gets even less. So the far one is always a little smaller than everybody else. This one will catch up. It's got lots of blooms on it. And then this one is looking beautiful as well. These double bells are gorgeous. And then this one is starting to bloom too. But you can see that how much smaller it is. That's okay. All right, so the last thing I want to show you, even though we're doing a front yard garden tour, is the rhododendrons in the backyard, because they are fading and they will not be there when I do a tour. And even if I wait it 1 week, let alone 2 weeks, they won't be there. So I want to show you the rhododendrons back here real quick. All right, so we've got these rhodies in our backyard. Even though this one bloomed after that one, it's already done blooming. So you can see all of her mess on the floor, and it's just, she's done. She was like a hot pink color. And then we have this one, which I consider like a blush color. It's got like a creamy center with a blush margin. It looked absolutely spectacular, but again, you could see she's losing all of her petals. And then we've got our little rose is starting to bloom, but this one is more of like a coral-ish color. The throat gets a lot darker coral when it's brand new, but these have all started to fade already. And then back here we have this one, which looks a lot more yellow than it really is. It's a lot more like a coppery, deep peach color when it is fresh. So as you can see, they're on their way out, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to share them with you. And just in case in 2 weeks it's not happening, I'm really excited about our golden rain tree. This is the most blooms she has had since we planted her 3 years ago. It makes me so happy. I could see the blooms from my living room, which is exactly what I had hoped for. All right, so I'm not going to go on and on about the backyard. There are some lilacs blooming. I think each lilac bush has like 3 or 4 blooms on it. They probably won't be in bloom by the time I do the backyard tour. But that's okay. I just wanted to show you those rhododendrons back here, and we'll get into what's blooming back here in another video. But until then, keep celebrating your life, and we will see you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment below. Let me know what you're growing in your garden and what's blooming right now for you. See you later. Bye.